Hi, I'm Darren.
And I'm Anthony.
And this is another episode of Decoded where we talk about some of the big news in technology this week. And there is lots of interesting stuff to talk about.
So what are we starting with first?
Well, one thing we will not be talking about is WWDC. So let's just move on.
You mean that 2-hour Boarfest? Yeah, no, we're moving on.
We're going to move on. But there were some other things besides WWDC. If you want to watch and hear our thoughts on it, we do have a special episode you can check out.
You should watch and understand that it was boring. So go ahead.
But moving on, we are going to actually talk about Microsoft. So they made an announcement, I believe this was about a week ago, that they have developed a technology with Skype that basically is the equivalent of a universal translator.
So we have science fiction turning into science fact. And Star Trek Universal Translator is finally available?
It's not available. Well, first off, it will be available in
the
end of 2014. Mm-hmm. But just to be clear, I mean, when they made the announcement, they kind of gave a little demo of the product, and there's two people conversing, and one person was speaking in German while the other person was speaking in English, and it was translating back and forth. It was definitely impressive, no doubt.
You just have to speak slow and clear.
Yeah, and it's one of those things is like we've seen the demo video. I would like to use it.
And that's now, it's a demo video right now, but imagine at the end of 2014, hopefully it'll get a little better. You won't have to speak as slow, but it's slow and clear. This is awesome.
I mean, no, it's great. It's like one of those things where it's like such a great idea, and it's so exciting that there is someone out there working on something like this. I just hope that it lives up to the excitement that it's already.
It's proof of concept is good, so let's hope at the end that we are really looking like that we're using a universal translator.
I think it's going to be more like a universal translator, so much more than a Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I know you mentioned what was the one
the tongue box from. From Barbarella.
Yeah, let's stick with the universal translator.
I think they should go with tongue box.
No, I don't think so. Anyways,
okay, so let's move on to Samsung.
So Samsung made an interesting announcement as well. So we've heard a lot about Tizen. It's their proprietary.
Yeah, it's their own operating system that they've been working on. It's now just now I think it's on all their wearables, but they just announced a phone that's going to only be in Russia, right?
Mm-hmm. It's called the Samsung, I believe it's just the Samsung Z. Mm-hmm. And basically what this phone is it's not like a top tier phone. It's not
like... No, it's another proof of concept phone. It's a smaller phone. What's it got? A 720p screen.
It's got a quad core Snapdragon processor, 8 megapixel camera, 2 gigs of RAM. So it's not necessarily a cheap phone, but it's... It's something that I think is just interesting that they've announced this new smartphone with their own operating system on it that's also open source, much like Android. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? I mean, what does that mean going forward? I mean, I think there's a lot of speculation that bringing it to Russia is this kind of test market. Mm-hmm. They have plans to kind of maybe ramp up some of their apps with developers in Russia building apps for them. Obviously, their app selection isn't anything close to what.
No, and it's all going to depend on the ecosystem, right? So if you have another new operating system, I mean, look at Windows. They've got 12 apps.
Right, and they have more than 12.
I know they have more than 12, but there's nothing there. And if you don't have enough apps, then I guess this is a good test market for them to see how it works. Or maybe it's just going to be one of those very inexpensive, subsidized phones that you can pick up for let's say $50 or $100, maybe even free on the carriers when they come here. And it's just a bare bones phone. It won't do anything other than what's on it. Who knows? But it's a cool thing. I mean, the battery life is supposed to be much better on Tizen.
Yeah, but I think what worries me about this, well, maybe not worries me. I mean, I would like to see one. In the office, or if someone in Russia would like to call us on the Skype translator, that would be awesome.
Call us
so we can get an idea what this phone is going to be like. But I've just never in my Galaxy S5 review, I just have never been a fan of Samsung software and just the idea.
Awesome hardware, software.
Software has some work, and so I just don't know if I want a all Samsung, software.
Yeah, let's see if they allow some ports for some apps to come over. They need third-party apps, or else it's not going to fly for us.
Well, I know before we started filming this, I made a comment that you weren't quite happy with.
What was that comment?
Well, I thought that this kind of made Samsung feel like they were trying to be Apple by trying to have their own operating system with their own hardware and trying to be a one-shop kind of
That would be
maker.
great if Apple made better hardware, like I keep telling you. I mean, my phone works great. I can actually see it and do stuff. How about you with a little hunt and peck?
Apply water to the burn, my friend. All right, well,
We're
moving on.
Let's go on to, now we're going to talk about Netflix and Verizon.
So this is just, I think I labeled this in a story that I wrote this week, something like a video streaming slugfest or something like that.
Yeah, this is a title fight.
This Netflix has been, I think we can say, one of the most vocal opponents to this. I mean, one of the most vocal proponents of net neutrality, and against this idea that all these internet service providers should be paying more to these ISPs to connect with their customers. Now
it's going to hurt us in the end anyway.
And in the latest bit of news, basically what's happened is that
Netflix has taken to the web to say, hey, help us out. We think they're throttling us.
Right. Well, basically, what it is when you go to, like, say you go to click on House of Cards or something, and it tries to load your show, it will be like, oh, I'm sorry, Verizon's congested right now. Please,
Yeah,
and it's basically
congested. Interesting.
Putting the ball in Verizon's court, being like, look, listen, it's not our fault.
Right, and Verizon's saying the exact opposite, and now they've sent out a cease and desist. So,
which means this is just, it's interesting because in late April we saw Netflix and Verizon, after they made the deal with Comcast, they made a deal with Verizon that they will pay more money to get a faster connection to their customers.
And now we're caught in the middle because we're paying for both, and I'm still not getting my House of Cards. So.
Right, right. And I mean, it seems, if you had any thoughts that Netflix, now that they made these deals, are going to just walk away from this net neutrality debate, I think that is not the case.
They can't, especially if there is throttling. I mean, it's allegedly throttling, but I know I had a problem with it. I couldn't get, it didn't give me the warning, but my stuff was pretty slow. So somebody's got to fix something, or else my $8 is going out the window.
Right. But I think that's going to pretty much do it for us this week.
Yeah, all right, so that's it.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Anthony.
And this is Decoded.